Hey, we're back.
Hello.
Yes, we are.
How's everybody doing today?
Peachy keen.
Great.
Edge of her
Peachy
seat.
keen, edge of your seat.
Yep.
Those are
What's in the basement?
What's in the basement? That's kind of where we left off last time, right? Everyone wanted to know what was in the basement, and then I stopped it.
Lost sleep for the whole week.
Oh, isn't that terrible? I wonder why people are going to watch the video and they're going to say, like, why are they wearing the same clothes from week to week?
Well,
You think they're going to figure it out?
Yeah.
do you want to go into the patron right now? Then
You want me to skip ahead? Yeah, we're
We could use some
revealing
new
too
clothes.
many secrets. So, yeah, we do record 2 episodes every time we get together. That just seems to work out for our schedules. So.
Not that he chains us in his basement.
It's not. Yeah,
No.
they are free to go. I let them have time out in the yard.
Free
Yard-
range
yard time.
gamers.
Yeah, free range gamers. That's just something I believe in. And no, we go back to back with these episodes, and we have a fun time. I mean, getting together for just an hour.
yeah,
Who does that?
Yeah, no one does it.
We make it sound like it's only, but we are acting.
Acting. We want this to make sense for people who are listening, and so we probably say, how was the week? And so all of our secrets are revealed.
Opened
And,
up right there.
Yeah, we'll do a behind the scenes.
Please still watch. I hope that wasn't keeping you.
That ruined
Watching.
it. That killed it.
Yeah.
I mean, if the outfit change matters, I can make it happen.
Oh, there you
We
go.
we
You know,
could have
do that.
we could have done that.
Yeah, we could have like messed up our hair a little bit.
Change shirts.
Change shirts. Yeah, if we did that, I would accidentally leave the camera going, and then we would see a bunch
Then
of
we would
dudes in
definitely
here
lose fans.
shirtless, and
Yeah.
then all of our viewership would go away. But
Or it might just change.
It's interesting to think that you would think I would change in front of a camera, whether it's rolling or not.
that's a good point. Yeah, I'm a little paranoid. One of those people that goes to your Airbnb and is like sweeping the place for
You should.
yeah, hidden cameras and bed bugs, of course.
So speaking of bed bugs
Yeah.
or bear bugs
What?
or bugbears,
Bugbears.
Good
like-
lord.
Where is this going?
I
Where is
don't
this
even
going?
know.
So welcome to episode 4. Sorry for all the random jabbering there. We are here and excited to move this story along for people. Just a quick shout out to all of our supporters on Patreon. If you haven't become a supporter, you can for just $1 a month. I mean, that seems, like a pretty good deal. And we will thank you endlessly because that's what we do. And to become a supporter, you can just go to dungeonpatrol.com and click on the Patreon button, or go to patreon.com/dungeonpatrol and help us keep this adventure rolling, and we'll have more silly conversations that make no sense to you. And, that's fun. People like that, right? You just need something droning in
Something.
the back of your mind while you're doing other important work. I'm sure a lot of people listen to us while they're doing
Oh, I thought you were
important
talking about
jobs.
yourself, Jerry.
Oh, yeah. I'm not listening to myself. I'm actually listening to another podcast right
that's where you get your ideas from.
Yeah.
Huh?
now. Oh, interesting. So we are here for episode 4, and I don't know if we decided last time that Alar
I'm feeling pressure from the group. But
is going to be our
right.
person.
I'm not promising.
Alar's
I'm always
feeling
gonna do
pressure?
it, but Ted is feeling pressure.
Oh, okay.
Alar loves it.
Alar's fine.
Alar's fine. So what happened last episode?
Well, Alar and the Revolution put on a grand performance for Brock the Bold and his thugs, getting in their good graces and lowering their defenses. They launched a sudden attack and quickly took the villa for their would-be allies, the pirates. They quickly looted the place before the pirates could come in, making their way to the basement. What will they find? Stay tuned for Dungeon Patrol.
Not Alar Patrol. Okay. Thank you for making that change. But
For now.
For now. So, people can make up their own minds, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we left off. And you guys were headed into the basement? of the villa.
Yep. Bruised and bleeding.
Bruised and bleeding.
Yeah.
A couple of you dropped last time to 0.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a good fight. So,
Yes.
basement. You walk down the wide stone stairs into the basement. Carved from the hard stone of the cliff, you see the long, narrow chamber runs deep into the rock. Every few feet, you see the dark outline of niches carved on either side of the chamber. Inside these stone hollows, you see barrels and casks, too many to count. Dozens upon dozens of barrels of wine and other spirits as well. A fortune in drink, its value compounded in these troubled times. A slight scraping noise can be heard coming from deeper in the room. As you round the corner on one particular niche, you see a strange sight. A frail, dirty man with a scraggly beard appears to be trapped under a barrel of wine. You notice he was tied to the barrel and probably tried to free himself, but instead managed to tip the barrel, pinning himself between it and the wall of the niche. You see that he is missing his legs, one at the knee and the other at the thigh. Filthy blood and wine-soaked bandages still cover both wounds, but his flailing knee leaves dark smears of fresh blood on the cold stone.
Ew.
His awkward, fruitless scrambling and terrified grunts make your stomachs churn.
Hashtag season 2 so dark. Wow.
How big is this room?
It is a long chamber, kind of like, I'd say it's about 10 feet wide, and it's probably about 50 feet long. And on either side, there are little niches carved in, maybe another 8 to 10 feet. And then inside those niches are barrels and casks of liquor and other things of value.
Well, I go over to the man and attempt to start freeing him.
Okay, so he is just, mindlessly gibbering and scared to death of any movement and of you, and he's just really out of control, and the closer you get, the more he flails, and bandages start to come off, and you can see that someone tried to sew up these wounds,
Well, can I try to calm him down with persuasion?
Yes.
19.
Wow. Okay. So you start to soothingly talk.
Whoa there,
sing,
old-timer.
sing to him. And he starts to calm down and realizes that, you aren't with this other group of people, and maybe mean him no harm, but still quite terrified. You can just see it in his eyes.
I'm going to just creep down through this hall, searching for anybody else or anything else.
Okay. You do see one of the niches has been kind of cleared out, but the rest are, stocked almost full with wine, and I mean, this is kind of what the person who owned this was into.
Yeah,
was
it's a vineyard.
Right,
Yeah.
the Flastel Vineyards.
Yep.
So is there any other way out?
There is no other way out.
Okay.
It's
So
just
I
a
guess
wine cellar,
yeah.
basically.
I will do just a thorough search while he's administering to that guy.
Okay.
Looking for secret passages or anything that might be mysterious.
Okay. You don't find anything out of the ordinary other than this fortune in wine and other spirits. Everything seems to be in good order. Some of the barrels are marked with the Flasdale name. Others are, have other symbols carved or burned into them, into the barrels, from other companies, other providers. But whoever this person was obviously storing this, and now it's property of the pirates, you guess.
While he's tending to this gentleman, I would like to do a medicine check and perhaps help him a little bit, since that's
That's your deal?
what I do.
Okay.
I'm just untying him and helping him down. I'll
No.
Okay.
hand off to you.
So you guys minister to this this person, and they start to. You finally hear like the first kind of sensible phrases out of his mouth, and he's thanking you. Thank you so much.
Who are you?
My name is Drake Flossdale. This
Oh.
is my home. So, and I think I told you last time, you know, the only Flossdale that you guys knew, you talked to Haydn, and he knew that there was a champion of this one arena that
Right.
basically was elevated from a slave to a freed person and won a fortune by defeating this arena. And,
Was that Drake Flossdale?
yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the Labyrinth champion, the only one that you know of.
And his championship was how long ago?
It was probably at least a decade or more ago.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
The Drake Flossdale? Victor of the Labyrinth?
Yes. I don't want to talk about that now. I'm very ashamed of my role in that whole thing.
Well, we are glad to free you and assist you in any way we can. Those thugs above are defeated.
They're gone. Brock is gone.
Brock is dead.
Unfortunately, your villa may be taken by an even larger group.
I don't know what to say about that. I thank you for freeing me, strangers. I don't know. Brock was so. They took my legs. My legs. They ate my legs.
Oh.
So dark, Jerry. Gosh.
And if you haven't figured it out by now, conversely, you ate Brock's legs, or ate Drake's legs, in the stew. The nice, rich.
Oh, I'm a vegetarian. Stew.
You picked that out?
Yes. No,
Wow.
actually.
Yeah. I added this bit as punishment for you guys avoiding the easy route into the, into the thing.
Wow.
I'm just so happy with myself right now. I can't stop
Wow.
smiling. So no, he was very abused, mistreated by Brock, and they ran out of food, and so he tells you that he's, you know, he quickly ran out of money after he realized that, you know, his vineyard was, it wasn't going to be easy. He was going up against other larger operations, and just because he was this so-called champion, they just used him, basically. They allowed him to win the Labyrinth to kind of give other people hope, so that they'd have a steady supply of people trying to win their own freedom. And so he was just he feels bad, and he had to sell off most of his furnishings just to keep his
Oh.
villa. And then, you know, Brock and company show up on the night of the uprising, and take over his villa, and, you know, basically this is all that's left. All
Wow.
that's left of his fortune and everything that he's worked for the past decade is in this basement.
Well, there's still quite a fortune in ale here, or wine.
Not that it does any good right now. Everything is in shambles.
People still have to drink.
Do they?
Yeah, it would be a pretty good commodity to trade in a situation like you guys find yourselves in. So, just so I'm clear, it does represent quite a hefty bit of leverage for Wolf Canute
Yeah.
and company. and this is probably why Brock was holding on to it as desperately as he was, because it's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Yep.
Well, Brock missed his chance to use it as leverage. He could have gained allies and held this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bad news, Mr. Flosdale. I don't think you'll ever walk again. But you're alive.
Thank you again. Who's this Wolf Canute that you speak of? Is he gonna keep me alive? I don't know what I do now without my legs.
Yes, unless you're useful, I doubt it.
Wow.
We could just end it right now. So Haydn's there with
Where's
you
Aileron?
suddenly, and Haydn is you hear him kind of whistle, and he's like, oh, Wolf Canute is not going to want another mouth to feed. That is true, but let's I'll tell Wolf Canute to say that you have information. We just need to get you back on your feet, so to speak, and to get the information from you, and that will buy us some time until I can figure out how you fit in. I'll do what I can to help you, but I need some time. So if you could just go back to your mindless gibbering, I think that's best for now, and we'll try to get you healed up.
Wouldn't the winner of the labyrinth be a powerful symbolic tool for Wolf Canute?
Perhaps that is not a bad idea. Yes. I'll see what I can do. But he would be a symbol of sorts to the slaves who are uprising. I mean, Wolf Canute is so new to these parts. I just don't know how he would take that, but I think it's worth a shot.
I don't know. Without his legs, it's not much of a symbol anymore.
Well, the good news is they're
I'm
all
the dark
pirates.
one.
Yeah, well, you are, but
Yeah.
We're dealing with pirates. They have experience with wood prosthetics.
good point.
Double peg legs.
Fair point.
This is awesome.
Clink, 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 clink.
Okay, so Haydn's going to try to let's help him upstairs and find a place for him to lie down, and we'll make up some story to Wolf Canute, and you just rest for now, and
Can we get him stable and at least get some fresh bandages on him?
and some food.
I think we've got some stew upstairs.
It's
Oh my
never
God.
tasted it. It's kind of like pork. And
It's very interesting. Melange of flavors that you.
Exotic.
So you guys have found this fortune in ale and wine, and going to bring Drake upstairs and get him situated.
Along with a keg of ale.
Okay. So keg of ale tucked under one furry arm, and you guys go marching upstairs, and Haydn sort of leading you to the back room where those other two ruffians came out of last episode. And there are some makeshift beds sort of set up, some cots and other things, bedrolls that are laid out on the ground, and you guys get Drake situated there, and he's thanking you profusely, and Haydn's like reminding him to just go back to the mindless gibbering. Don't forget, we need to buy some time here.
I don't like any of these people.
No. I don't
Yeah.
really want to help any of them.
You know, Haydn's not a bad guy, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Yeah.
So you guys go out in the main spaces, and you see the pirates are flooding in, dragging in all of their stuff, and you see Wolf Canute, barking orders at people and people running to and fro, and they're definitely getting situated into the villa, and he seems quite happy with how things turned out. And if you guys make eye contact with him, he's going to come up and just be like, way to go, team. He's like, oh, there they are. Yes, I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. Thank you. You've delivered me exactly what I wanted. And I've heard from Haydn that we have a fortune of liquor in the basement.
There is.
I owe it all to you. Welcome to my crew. And then he gives you all pats on the back, and everyone's happy. And
So this is where we discuss payment.
I think the payment is we're part of the crew.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's
Joy.
Benefit plan, retirement options.
he's
dental.
Better equipment would be nice at
Yes.
this
Yeah.
point.
so you
Healing.
Healing.
Yeah, he will give you. Does let you know that you will get a weekly ration of food, like the rest of the crew. So you don't have to, as long as you're regularly stopping back and checking in with this group of people, you would have food if you wanted to hang around them. But you're part of his pirate gang now. Welcome you with open arms. I mean, obviously,
What's
they're
the name of the gang? Do they have a name of?
No, I mean they're Thurangari pirates. Thunder Isles. You can call them whatever you want, but they're just basically pirates.
But they're not self-named.
His name is Wolf, and they're not the Wolf Pack.
It could be the Wolf Pack. It's Wolf Canute. They are composed of a lot of different pirate clans that fled one of the islands of the Thunder Isles. And Wolf Canute, you can learn all of this stuff, I'll say, as you're mingling with the crew and stuff. Basically what happened when the Mists from Season 1 took over the Thurangari Isles, and all those strange creatures started coming out. Basically, Wolf Canute led this group of people from this one particular island, and they fled through the mists in their ships, in their long ships, and he led them unerringly through the mists and finally got them into the open ocean after weeks of sailing. And so they were very bedraggled, very hungry, very thirsty, and they made straight for Vadragan because Wolf Canute, figured out where they were, and that was the closest place. And they made it to Vadragan, and then their ships were immediately seized by the Baron and enslaved, and their ships were burned. And that was kind of one of those little lead-up pieces of information that I shared with you.
And then they broke free with the uprising.
Yeah, when the uprising happened, they had a definite advantage because they were still mostly together, and they were not used to being slaves. They were still a very tight-knit bunch. They tried to break them up as much as they could, but this was just weeks ago that they were free pirate clans.
150, 200. That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually more than that, but
My.
yeah. He's got a couple of different bases now on this side of the island that he's in charge of. He led them out of the mists. He's not universally loved by all of the clans that are represented, but he is definitely acknowledged as their savior and their leader for now.
So how do we recognize the other members of this clan and be recognized in return?
Good point.
How do you recognize them as being
Do they have a
different?
badge?
Where's our
Like,
immunity?
Is there a pirate police
Like,
we can wear?
or a membership card, or
Membership card.
A secret handshake.
A secret handshake?
The Van Buren brothers will notice us.
Yeah, I mean, physically, they're very they're very cliquish. They tend to stick with each other. The men are predominantly bearded. The women like to wear their hair long and in lots of braids and things. But they're rough and tough, hardy looking people. Very physically kind of imposing compared to like your average, Badragani slave. So, I mean, they tend to stand out, especially when they're in a group. There's nothing that they have that signifies, hey, you're part of the...
How are they going to know that we...
That we are.
Yeah, he would have to, send word or give you a note, assuming that they're literate,
The literate pirates.
But, yeah, I'm not saying they're all literate, but some of them probably are.
That should be the name.
The literate pirates.
So, I mean, I assume we're going to kind of get a chance to rest.
Yeah.
Heal.
Yep. You can rest up, heal up. The chaos starts to settle down after a while, and they start cooking their own food, and they seem totally disgusted after they hear about what happened to Drake, and they, they even go so far as to throw out that whole pot and everything that had.
I mean, it wasn't that bad.
It really wasn't that bad, says the bugbear.
For me, it wasn't cannibalism.
Now he has a taste for human flesh.
Now,
start.
Watch out.
now. What do you? Are we beholden to their deeds? I mean, do we have to do what he says, or what are our plans now? I don't want to stay here.
Well, I want to know what the lay of the land is. Like, obviously, this is a sizable force.
Yeah.
Who's the competition? Do the slaves own the rest of the island? Does the Empire own any bit left?
Yeah. Do you have the map up on your screen there? We'll definitely upload this to Facebook and have it on the
think you did
website as
already.
well. Did I? Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably did. But anyway, there's a different map that I should share with you that now that you have the villa. So Wolf Canute or Haydn is happy to kind of show you out on the veranda there. He can actually point out the territory that they control and the territories that the other factions in town control. And so basically everything from Fishbelly to Bleakstone to Horncliffe, that's all Wolf Canute and his crew. And
Wait, I'm sorry. Horncliffe to Fishbelly?
yep, so that whole western side of the island is pretty much Wolf Canute and his gang control that. The center of the island, kind of the marketplace, the business hub of the city, including the flesh market, the vast slave market where people are bought and sold on a daily basis. All of that is in Old Town, which is kind of the center of the city, and that is ran by another faction, actually a triumvirate of 3 people who control Old Town. And Wolf Canute is happy to tell you that he has been negotiating with one of those people, trying to convince them that everyone needs to band together if they're going to survive, if they're going to face off with the Baron, who is just trying to starve them into submission. If they have any hope of survival, they need to work together. And so that's Wolf Canute's thing. He's not the nicest guy in the world, definitely not the classiest person you're ever going to run into, but he is very smart, and he just wants everyone to be able to win. So he's been in negotiations with one of the members of the Old Town Triumvirate,
Who, like, when you say the Old Town Triumvirate, like, who were they before, or what are they now? Are they not obviously not pirates?
They're not slaves. Some of them are maybe minor, low-level, thugs, people that had some kind of power or position, even as slaves, that kind of gave them the edge, or, have risen over the past couple of months and proven to be, strong fighters or capable leaders or, something.
So, who is this person that was kind of taking over the different lands? Was it the gentleman that was murdered? Like the ones who've been taking over our lands on the mainland?
On the mainland?
Yes.
That would be the Baron. You're
Okay.
talking about your tribe?
Yes, the
Yes.
Barons. So, my motivation would definitely be to make sure the Baron is stopped.
Yes.
Okay.
Wolf Canute, you understand, again, conversations with other people, that he definitely, you hear that they thought that they could go to the Baron and, trade fairly and be safe trading in Vadragan, and they were immediately enslaved, and he feels like he was betrayed. And there's something else, some other piece of dirt that you can't quite get from people, that you get the sense that this anger towards the Baron is very personal for Wolf Canute.
Okay, so we've got the wolf pack on the western side. We've got the triads in the middle.
Yep.
What about the rest of the island?
Red Gutter Row, that is where a lot of the arenas and gladiator training houses are. And so that is made up of mostly gladiators. They are fewer in number, but obviously strength of arms is pretty overwhelming.
I'm guessing we know how they got his name, Red Gutter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You can imagine. Black Alley is currently doing its own thing. That's kind of the seedier part of town. Lots of brothels, taverns, that sort of thing. People that leave the arenas usually end up there. I guess it's a mix, but it's definitely like a, Vegas Strip kind of thing. But for now, that is led by someone. They haven't had any contact with this person, but they seem open to trade, and they're not really, preventing anyone from coming and going, but it's ran by someone called the Eunuch. And
Does that ring any bells for me? I mean, that's my area of town.
No, not really.
Like
You knew
crime bosses or anything that would have been going by that?
No, but you know that a lot of the brothels and things often would employ eunuchs to act as bouncers and to
Okay.
live in house with the ladies.
What about High Cobble?
High Cobble is sort of the churchy area. Lots of temples. It sort of rises up and overlooks the cities. So you're kind of on an even level with it, being on this hill. But you can see, spires of various temples and things like that. Definitely lots of area for, fortune tellers and other, would-be, prognosticators in that area, but mainly the main temple district.
And is it run by anybody or just independent?
It seems to be independent. They don't know anything about that.
So just people living their lives.
Yeah.
priests and acolytes just.
Yeah. It was pretty severely looted, but it's mostly been vacated since the uprising.
Okay.
Like most of them got out early on and took their stuff. And Saltside, that is where all the, salt mines are. Lots of larger corporations have set up pretty extensive salt mining operations there on that side of the island, the northeastern side, and there are lots of miners there. They probably have the most numbers, but the most malnourished, the most beaten down, the most, you name it. They have been living very, very rough, hard lives for a very long time.
So maybe the title of this episode should be Gangs of Vadrigan.
Yeah. And Down Bottom has its own crew, too. Down Bottom is somewhat unique in that most of the people that are there were not slaves. That is kind of like the poor district of the city. These people were just too darn poor to get out when everything started going to heck. They had no place else to go. They don't have summer estates. They don't have, farms to retire to. They don't have, the means to get a horse or hop a wagon or anything to get out. They just had no other option. So
What is their temperament towards the Baron?
them,
Yeah.
they're unfriendly for the most part, but the sense that you get from the pirates is that I probably wouldn't trust them. They seem to have the same vibe that you do. Like, maybe it would be better off if the Baron just came and swept through and put things back to the way it was, and I could go back to living my life the way it was.
Sure.
But in the meantime, the Baron is laying siege to them as well.
Yes. So,
And he's very wealthy.
yep. It's probably a mix.
Okay.
Well, so the Baron, so the Baron is operating out of the fortress, which is
Across the...
across the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Cross
so,
this bridge.
when you say besiege, are they actively, is there a siege?
Well, we're cut off. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're-
there's nothing coming in, nothing going out.
Okay, but they're not they're not aggressors right now. They've just cut us off. There's not troops trying to resecure districts in Old Town.
The Wolf Canute's feeling is that the Baron doesn't have enough soldiers.
Okay.
Part of one of the little snippets that I sent you before we started was that a column of soldiers left heading towards the Ashwood.
Right.
So that's was probably the bulk of the Baron's forces. And there's some rumors that, he doesn't have many troops left. That what you see on the walls and, a few others inside the Dreadgate itself, probably all he has. So because it's a, massively fortified place that only has one entrance across this bridge, there's no way that you or Wolf Canute or anyone else can, possibly take it from the Baron, but the Baron also can't come into the city without getting completely wiped out.
What was the Baron's name?
Zelmo Goshki.
So, who is this person that you wanted to speak to in Fishbelly that you believe that we could possibly find an ally in, or you could find an ally in?
Who are you talking to?
Are you talking about Old Town?
Old Town, sorry, yeah, not Fishbelly.
Oh, you
One
can.
of
One of the triumvirate.
Yeah. It's a. Haydn can tell you that it's a human man named Auden Wayne.
And have you sent word to him? Have you contacted him yet, or not?
You find out that Wolf Canute and Auden Wayne's people have been sending messages back and forth or messengers back and forth. And there seems to be some agreement that yes, we need to all come together. And Auden is trying to do his best to sway his partners towards Wolf Canute, but they're also getting pressure from the gladiators.
Well, what you don't understand if you have one of the sharpest tongues and wit and all the land
Uh-huh.
at your disposal.
Oh, and you
Thank you,
look,
Brokos.
look knowingly at Alar.
I am his hype man.
That's right.
Got to do more of this. Woo.
All right.
Wow.
Half a copper a day. You'll talk a man up.
You're that cheap. Wow.
I am
It's very affordable.
poor and homeless, and yes.
Does what he can. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the situation, and I have another map that more clearly lays out the boundaries.
Cool.
And I'll bring that up the next time. But that's basically where we stand. Now that you have the villa, you can see a lot of this. There's a lot of smoke and haze and mist and everything. So, you can't see everything. You can see into Old Town pretty reliably. But depending on the day, the other parts of town are fairly iffy on what you can view from the villa. But, you all have some knowledge of the city, and it's described to you, and this is kind of where that was going to happen once you had secured the villa.
And again, the villa was on the south. The south.
We're in Bleakstone, I believe.
Yes.
Or
I thought we were in Horncliffe.
Yeah,
Horncliffe.
Horncliffe, yeah.
So we're like on the coast, right?
Nope. That little
Ridge
ridge there, you're right up there.
between Old Town and Horncliffe.
There it is.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's where we're at?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. You drawn your own map over there?
yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, what can we do to be of assistance?
Who are you asking?
I suppose Hayden. Or
So-
I mean, if we're talking to Wolf Canute, that'd be great. But
Haydn is, Wolf Canute is kind of conversation is iffy. Haydn seems to be sticking closer to you. And as you've had this time to hang out, to recuperate, and get information from people, you find out that Haydn is not totally embraced by the crew.
yeah, I got that already.
But Wolf Canute called him his little truffle pig.
No, God.
Sniffs it out.
Yeah, he knows where things are hidden, and he's good at sniffing things out, and knows the city very well.
I hope we get a fun nickname.
Yeah.
And Wolf Canute also tells you that Haydn is, he's just a crazy old halfling. He's tells all these, makes up all these stories about himself, but he's known by a lot of people in this town, and people know that he was simply a scribe for a local tallow merchant, and nothing more than that. A slave like the rest, and but still useful in his knowledge of the town and his ability to find things.
He has his purpose, but he can't be completely trusted.
Yep, basically
We don't
that's
know
what
his-
Wolf Canute is.
So I pull Alar aside, or just whisper in his ear, should we invite the muscle to help us?
What are you talking about? Drake?
You mean the bugbear?
The bugbear?
Well,
Oh,
both of them.
yeah.
They seem to. I mean, we just found ourselves with them, and I guess I've seen them in their worst, but
I thought
Maybe-
that was your comedian and your dancer.
maybe perhaps wise, with a bit more practice.
They were of great assistance to us.
Perhaps you could. I mean, we could invite them. No fee, of course.
Invite them to what,
I mean,
Brokos?
help us. I mean, you're going to negotiate. It sounds like that's what you want to do.
Be part of the band.
Well, of course, but
I mean, you have to officially, ask them.
yeah, but we need to be clear what the heck we're even doing right now.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
we are completely, compassless at this point.
Yeah.
It's true.
I tried asking the question, and
Oh, okay. What was the question you tried to ask?
how we can be of assistance.
Oh, okay. He will. Wolf Canute lets you know that he may have use for you. You've obviously proven yourselves to be very capable, very clever. He likes that, and you're probably a little more expendable. So he doesn't have any real work for you right now. So he tells you to talk to Haydn. Haydn tells you, it's just, we're just getting settled in here now, and we still need to figure out what to do about Drake. Wolf Canute wants to just toss him out, and I tried to say that the man might have information that we need. So, we can think about that. And as that's happening, as he's in the middle of this conversation, you hear all of this ruckus, this chaos and shouts, and doors banging open, and a group of, men come in, and they're dragging another man who seems to be very injured. So you see this man that they're dragging in. His mouth hangs open strangely. His jaw is obviously broken. His nose looks like it was moved several inches off center and smashed completely flat. Those men that are carrying him start shouting for help, and a group of Thurangari pirates surround them, to help out, and some of them start demanding answers. What happened? What's going on? They all know this man. He's one of them. He's one of the pirates. And you see Haydn, break off his conversation with you, and he goes slipping in, kind of worms his way through this crowd and manages to get right up into this injured man. And you can just spy him, slip out a little vial from his cloak, and he pours it into the man's mouth, and the man starts kind of sputtering and coming back to his senses. So he obviously slipped him a healing potion of some kind.
He didn't offer that to us.
Haydn's, you see him in there, amongst this group of very angry pirates, and his voice is strangely calm, and he's, "They're all better now. Everything's going to be all right." And as the bodies back away, you see the man, looking better, color coming back to his face, but still very dazed. And then the call for, answers, people are demanding answers, that picks up again. And you hear something about a dog. You hear some name that keeps being repeated, Arvik. And then people start to get really angry and agitated and start talking, about revenge and blood, and we must have his head and kill that dog. And over this cacophony of voices and angry shouts, you hear Haydn's voice trying to calm the madness that is quickly consuming these very violent men and women that are surrounding him. And Wolf Canute enters the room, followed closely by Skolaveg. She seems very agitated by all of this, sort of like a caged panther, right? She wants to be let loose on something at all times, and she just sees all of this, and so she is looking at Wolf Canute, and Wolf Canute nods to her, and she goes and she starts rounding up a group of men to go deal with this situation. But again, Haydn's voice cuts through all of this, and he says, "Wolf Canute, isn't the rule that we don't fight our own? Isn't that what you said, Wolf Canute?" And you see his little round body kind of weave out of the mass of bodies, and he approaches Wolf Canute, and he just like stands toe to toe with this, Viking lord. And Wolf Canute like gives him, not a friendly look, but he says, he kind of shrugs and he says, "Yes, that is the rule." And then you can see there's like a but. He's going to say but. And Skolaveg's still getting prepared. And then you are close enough to hear Haydn say, "Besides, we still need Arvik." And Wolf Canute obviously ponders this for a second and nods. And he's like, "The runt knows our ways better than we do. We don't fight our own. But from now on, Arvik stays in the greenhouse. He is not welcome in the villa, and he will have no help from us." And then Haydn kind of bows and, agrees to that and starts to back away. And you hear the crowd start to, they're still very agitated, very angry, muttering, and, but Skolaveg very reluctantly, makes her way back to Wolf Canute, and they leave the room. Others are sticking around to help the man, and but there's still a milling throng of people who are not happy with the decision. And Haydn approaches you, and he's like, "Oh, this is very bad, very, very bad. I'm gonna have to stay here and make sure nobody does anything foolish. Could you go check out the greenhouse? Check on Arvik for me? He's a good lad. He really is. I don't know what would drive him to do such a thing. But check on him. Just remember, be nice to his dog, okay?"
Who is Arvik?
He's a good boy. He really is. He doesn't know his own strength. He's one of them. He's a Thurangari for sure, but he's not like them, if you know what I mean. He wasn't raised like them. He's different, and he hasn't really fit in. He's kind of simple, I guess you would say, but he knows his way around plants and things, and I've tried to set him up in the greenhouse so he would have something to do and stay out of trouble. And so I'm hoping that this can still happen. Wolf Canute agrees that we should try to grow our own food, and the greenhouse is key to that. But they're pirates; they're not farmers. But Arvik knows his stuff.
I feel like I may know what it like means to be Arvik, or I imagine an outsider, but if he's got a green thumb, I would perhaps like to see him and meet him myself.
Brokos, you're always going on about nature and plants and such.
Yes.
Perhaps you could be of assistance to this Arvik.
That is the way.
This greenhouse, is this on this estate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was up. We passed that when we came on the ridge.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So Haydn's like, I need to stay here to make sure I can keep things calm. And he just wants you to go because this is very not like Arvik.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
we should go to the greenhouse.
We shall go to the greenhouse.
All right.
And we should probably talk
Talk about what?
once the four of us are away from the rest of them.
Oh, yeah. Do your own plotting.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yep.
So you walk out and you can still hear there's like a swirling storm of muttered curses and things, and Haydn's going around doing his thing, talking very calmly to people, reminding them that what Wolf Canute says, he's right. Don't fight your own. So you walk back along the ridge until you arrive at a small wooden shack. And the shack sits next to a long, low structure that appears to be made entirely out of glass. Inside, you can see a tangled mess of overgrown foliage, and as you approach the shack, you think you hear the sound of someone quietly sobbing. You walk towards the dimly lit structure, and you see a blocky shape that you immediately mistake for a piece of furniture, but it's clearly where the low, pitiful noises are emanating from. And as you approach, you see this bulky shape shake with each sob. The shape seems to suddenly grow exponentially, filling the shack's dark interior, and the figure turns to confront you. "Leave us alone! I will hurt you!" And you spy one enormous fist that looks as heavy and solid as a sledgehammer, clenched tightly, being waved in front of you. And this person, if this is Arvik, he's taller than you are, Krager. He is 7 feet tall, 450 pounds, just massive mountain of a man. And you can see that his arms and his whole body and his face is just covered in scars, and just it's like lacework almost, just white scars everywhere. Obviously been through some serious stuff. And he keeps shaking his fist, but then you notice in his other arm he cradles a small dog that on closer inspection is not so small. It just looks very small, cradled against his massive body. And the dog is just hanging there limply, and you can see that there's blood all over his arm. And he's like, stay away, leave us alone."
Is he human?
Yes, he's a pirate.
Are you Arvik?
Yes, I'm Arvik. Who
Hi-
are you?
Haydn has sent us to help.
Haydn sent you.
Yes.
Haydn sent you. What happened to that other man?
He was cared for.
Good.
What happened?
They said they would help my dog, and they took him, and then they said he was only good for the stew pot. So I hit him.
Can I, Arvark, I have ways with nature, and I hear you do too. I know it's like to be different. Can I perhaps see your dog and see if I can help him?
You can
He
fix
looks
my
hurt.
dog?
Perhaps, yes.
You will fix my dog? Fix my dog! Fix my dog! And then he kind of gently
I am unarmed, just...
holds the dog out in front of him, and you can see it's just hanging there limply, blood all over it. Got wounded somewhere, but he's holding it, and he's still crying, and please fix my dog.
Is it breathing? Can I put my hand on it and check? Is it lifeless?
It's dying for sure, but still savable.
Okay. Well, if I have my gear with me back that I had,
Mm-hmm.
I have a healing kit,
Okay.
and so I can if he's still conscious or he's not, I don't have the skills right now to heal him with my magic, but I can with my wisdom and with what I was taught
Okay.
by my forefathers.
All right. So you're gonna roll a
A medicine check.
medicine check. See what you can do
Get that
for
with
this.
advantage because I have a healing kit. It's a 14.
14. All right. So you see that the dog, on closer inspection, has a couple of puncture wounds in its abdomen area and has been bleeding fairly profusely for some time. Its fur is all matted with blood, and you can see that Arvik is covered with it. And he didn't know what to do, and so you managed to bind up the wounds.
I want Arvark to feel like he's helping me because he has a greenhouse here, and I perhaps get him some herbs or something that could help him, and even if it was just superficial, to feel like he's helping.
Okay.
And I can show him and tell him what I'm doing.
Okay. So he seems like very invested, and he starts giving him something to do helps him calm down, and he stops sobbing, and he, you can see that there's a little sparkle of hope in his eye, that his dog's going to be okay. So you manage to bind the wounds up, and you think that with some time and care that the dog will recover. It doesn't look like there was any organs punctured, any major arteries or anything. It just looked like it happened to be in a spot that was, going to bleed a lot, and so he just needs some time to recover.
He will live.
I was like, he's going to be okay?
Yes.
Barnacle's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. Thank you so much. And he picks you up, like a huge bear hug, and like swings you around, and he's just like laughing and clapping you on the back, and he just is totally overjoyed with that news.
Very good, Aardvark. I know you do not mean to harm others.
Are you calling him Aardvark?
Aardvark.
Yes.
Arvik.
That's what it-
Arvik.
Yeah.
It's a little emotional. Okay.
Aardvark works. He's like, I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. I made a promise not to hurt anyone anymore.
I know.
But I didn't know what to do.
We'll help you.
Thank you. And then he gives you another hug, and then he like goes back to, he's like, there's something in the greenhouse. Something hurt my dog. I need to get this greenhouse working, otherwise the pirates, they won't let me stay here with them. I need the greenhouse to be cleared out. I don't know what hurt my dog. Could you go in the greenhouse, find out what hurt my dog?
We can go do that, Arvik.
Did we get healing?
No,
Yeah,
we did not.
Yeah.
We rested.
Yes, you did rest.
Full night?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the morning?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
It was like
okay.
you had food and
Oh.
Okay.
yeah, that
Because
whole.
I'm like, I've got 3 hit points, and I'm not going to go in
So we
there.
can take a long rest?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll,
That's kind of important for
Yeah.
spellcasters.
for you guys.
Oh, because then you could have just healed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a dog you need to save.
But that's fine.
It worked out
still,
fine.
It was still nice.
Yeah, no, that worked out well. I'll reflect your newly healed states. But yes, all of that information you learned earlier, that took some time to get out of the pirates and hiding and stuff. So I assume that, like a day had
Evening
gone
and
by.
morning conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Arvik, he kind of points out and he explains to you that, they went in to clear out the greenhouse to try to see if there's anything they could salvage, and his dog Barnacle ran off one way and left him, and then he heard a yelp, and then he went looking for him and found him lying by the door to the greenhouse and a puddle of blood, and that's when those other men were supposed to be here to help him get the greenhouse set up. And they immediately saw the dog and then wanted to eat the dog, and Arvik did not want to let that happen. So,
All right, Arvik. We'll take care of the problem.
thank you so much. You're very nice people.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so you guys are marching up to, and I don't know if it's on your map or not. But I will put it there now. There's the shack, and you see a path ahead leading to the greenhouse, and you can march up to the door, but you know what?
Okay.
What's that?
That's where we're going to end it for
All right.
this week. So, sorry. You'll have to see what's in the greenhouse next time.
Hold
Next
on.
time.
Yeah.
It's probably fragrant and lovely.
It looked pretty overgrown and brown and something.
That sounds lovely to me.
Does it?
Nutritious.
Yes.
Well, being a druid is going to help, I think.
I think so. I would hope so. Yeah, that was-
Yeah. But nice job. We didn't get to any fights this episode,
It's okay. We learned a lot.
but you learned a lot of
A lot.
information, and saw kind of how the pirates work and how those dynamics are going. But
We need to
And
figure out how we fit into all this.
we don't feel
Yeah,
more
I-
powerful, or
I'm not sure.
We don't.
no, not yet.
Do I feel funny?
But you know, you're definitely learning things. That is for sure. But thank you all. Good job, and we will see you all next week.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
thanks for watching.